Have you ever noticed that people in general are absolutely resistant to change? they seem to be much more inclined to hang on to a familiar hell rather than jump on a wagon that's heading towards an unfamiliar heaven. That don't make any sense. What about you? What about you? Are you resistant to change? Hi there. Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker. Yeah, change. Change is upon us. And it's true. Society in general, people in general are resistant to change. That's why the sleeping have reverted back to becoming part of the matrix, full speed ahead. They believe that the world has gone back to the way it was prior to the pandemic. They haven't caught on to the fact it'll never be the same. And some of the awake haven't caught on to the fact that we are the ones that are going to usher in the biggest changes. Yeah, the white hats are doing their job. Yeah, and the evil's being taken off the planet. Yeah, we're going to end up with a gold standard coming in. But we are the ones that are going to have to usher in the world, in the new world, and make the changes. And where does that all begin? What is it that makes the biggest change in the world? It's when we make a change in our own selves. When we make that change, and when we tap into that divinity that's inside each and every one of us. God hath not given the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and sound mind. He gave us those three gifts for a reason. We're supposed to exercise each and every one of those. We're supposed to activate them in our lives. Yeah, we're supposed to activate them in our lives. Love is not the only one. The power and sound mind are extremely important. And all three of those gifts combined makes us unstoppable. What is it? That unstoppable warrior. We have a few to look up to. The ones who are the movers and the shakers of the world. The ones who are doing the things for the benefit of all humanity, not just for their own bank account and for their own egos. The world changes take warrior spirit, and that warrior spirit's tapped into the power of God, love's power and sound mind, all three of them. So it's an exercise that we all have to learn how to do. We are the ones. And the changes. We have to make some changes too. It's true. We can't wake up the sleeping to point out to all the evil that's been taking place. They're blind to it. Obviously. At this point, it's no wonder so many people have given up trying to wake people up. But as I see it, our job is changing too. We can't wake them up to the evils that took place. We can't wake them up to the lies of mainstream news. But you know what we can wake them up to? We can wake them up to evidence of the white hat activity. We can wake them up to that because it's starting to hit mainstream news, and dribble by dribble, soon it's going to be a flood of truth going to hit the mainstream news. And we can get a few of them ready for it just by pointing out the evidence of white hat activity. Now that is something that every single one of us can do. We can learn some common law. We can hold the block party and kind of combat the evil tradition of divide and conquer. Anything that creates unity in any way is, in fact, a very huge activity that we can all be working on to make a difference. We can grow a garden and thereby improve the quality of our own food, put that responsibility in our hands. And believe me, you can grow a garden even if you're in an apartment. I have a few videos on how I've done just that because I don't have any land. I live in a little 400 square foot flat and I don't even have a balcony to grow anything on. That has not stopped me from gardening. And check out my videos on that. Do some homework on that. I'll send you down my past channels. The 2025 video on gardening is soon coming out. So and getting ready for the 2026 season. You might want to watch for that. Subscribe and like my channel and share some videos and support me in that way. It would not only be good for you, but it would definitely be good for me too. It definitely help me with my algorithms and get my message out there. But waking up the warrior spirit, that's standing in our power. Standing in our power, that is where we're at. We have to look at things a little bit different. I said that we can share things to the sleeping. Now look at this. Clinton signed a mass deportation law in 1996. 2 months later, 85% of the Democrats voted to re-elect him. Today, many riot against the laws that their own party passed. Hypocrisy has no expiration date, and it's everywhere. The hypocrisy of the sleeping ones is absolutely astounding and funny when you look at it with humor. Laura Aboli did a really good talk on ICE and that particular issue. Let's hear Laura now.
Scrolling. I need 5 minutes of your attention because 90% of what you're seeing about the ICE situation in Minnesota is missing the most important context. And if we don't get this right, people are going to keep getting hurt. And here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tell you ICE is perfect, and I'm not going to tell you that they're evil either, because the truth is messier than your algorithm wants you to believe. Before I show you what's really happening, ask yourself this. If deportations are happening in all 50 states, why is the violence only happening in a few places? I need you to hold that thought. Let's start with what we can all agree on, which is the facts. Let me try and disarm you by saying anyone dying is horrific, full stop. The 2 people who die didn't deserve to die. We're clear on that. But here's where it gets complicated, and this is the part that's going to make some of you uncomfortable. The uncomfortable truth is those same 2 people put themselves in an incredibly dangerous situation. Now, before you click away, both of these things can be true at the same time. They didn't deserve to die, and they made a fatal mistake. Your brain wants to pick one or the other, but reality doesn't work that way. Remember that question from earlier? Here's the answer that's going to blow your mind. Minnesota only accounts for 2% of total deportations. 2%. So why is all the violence happening there? It's the leadership. Tim Walz and Jacob Frey are literally pouring gasoline on this fire. They're using the exact same playbook that we've seen before. This is the BLM playbook, step by step. 1, tragic incident occurs. 2, leaders inflame tensions instead of calming them. 3, peaceful protests turn violent. 4, cities burn. 5, the people running the movement get rich, but nothing actually improves. Don't believe me? The Marxist leaders of BLM use millions in donations to buy themselves mansions while not helping a single black family. That's not opinion, that's a documented fact. I want to see what actual peaceful protests look like? The Canadian trucker convoy. Organizers wouldn't even let people swear on the PA system because kids might hear it. No windows were smashed, no officers attacked, no federal agents threatened. The result, they still got pepper sprayed and trampled by horses while holding hands and praying. But the current ICE protests, federal agents have been assaulted, windows smashed, their guns grabbed, and threats were made. The result, media still calls them mostly peaceful, but that's clearly not the case. Now here's something that's going to break your brain. Obama deported way more people than Trump, by a lot. The difference? The media supported Obama's deportations. So there were no riots, no violence, and people complied. So exact same actions, different media coverage, different results. Look, I'm about to give you a simple test to see if you've been propagandized. Ready? If you're outraged about ICE but said nothing when illegal immigrants were charged with murdering American women and children, you've been propagandized. If you're calling ICE Gestapo but said nothing about vaccine passports and speech policing, you've been propagandized. The consistency of belief matters. And look, let me blast you with some facts here. Most deportees have criminal records. Some deportees are innocent of crimes beyond illegal entry. Illegal entry is still a crime. You're being lied to about tear gassing babies and a bunch of different scenarios. And innocent people are also probably getting hurt in the chaos. There are so many both is true scenarios, but violence is only happening where the local leaders are encouraging it. Your brain wants to reject some of these. That's the propaganda working. The real question, the question isn't whether you like ice. The question is, do you want the situation to get better or worse? Because here's what makes it worse. Violent riots disguised as protests, gonna make it worse. Local leaders calling federal agents Nazis, refusing to let ICE do their job safely, treating every deportation like a war crime. And here's what makes it better. Holding bad actors accountable on all sides, letting legal processes work, protecting everyone's rights while enforcing the law, leaders who calm tensions instead of inflaming them. And you also have a choice right now. You can keep consuming and posting black and white content that makes you feel righteous but solves absolutely nothing, or you can accept that reality is complex and start demanding better from everyone involved. And it starts right here with the words that we are using, the content that we are making. And if everyone could just really zoom out for a minute, the people profiting from this chaos don't want it to end. The angrier you stay, the more powerful they become. Don't let them use you. Don't let them use you. Don't let them use you.
Laura did a good job on that, didn't she? Really good job on that. Are you ready to stand in your power? Are you ready to awaken that warrior spirit inside you? Those 3 gifts God has given us, love, power, and sound mind. Can you tap into those 3 gifts and increase and augment the power that they all have in your life? Love, power, that's personal power, that's personal power, power to make change. And sound mind is being able to stand strong and know what you need to do. Strong mind is to not go wimping off into whining and wimping because your life isn't what you want it to be. No, rather, strong mind is to use that mind power and use your personal power and love and move forward and make you, yourself, better. That will change the world. And if you encourage just 2 people to do that, guess what? They'll encourage 2 people to do that. And 31 levels deep, it's over 10.5 million people just by doing that. And how many people did you inspire? 2. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. 31 times. Work it out. It's amazing. We exaggerate the difficulty, but that's because we're resistant to change. We have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone and become the most that we can be. That is a true warrior spirit. A true warrior spirit. See, the strong ones often appear ruthless because they refuse to succumb to the emotions of another. Their strength may be seen by one who is less disciplined or emotionally weaker as arrogance, excessive pride, or narrow-mindedness. Compassion is gentle, yet even still, a compassionate, strong one will be misunderstood by those who project their own weakness upon or sentimentality upon a stronger person. The kind of strength I'm referring to is the makings of a light warrior. The makings of a light warrior. See, change can only be accomplished by being the change. It has nothing at all to do with doing anything, learning anything, teaching anything, or believing anything. However, one will be guided to learning, teaching, and doing because those are the steps. Those steps are part of and are the result of being more. So when you become more, that is when you do the learning, teaching, and doing. But it starts with making a decision to be more yourself. It starts right at the beginning. It starts right at the beginning. What we have to do is realize something. The faith of the warrior is not lazy. It doesn't wait upon the promises of gurus, rishis, or gods. You just listen to that? It doesn't wait upon the promises of anybody coming to save you. The faith of the warrior is derived from building the warrior spirit in adverse conditions and in arenas that have our decline and death in mind. The faith of the warrior is not built upon promises or beliefs. It is built upon experience and grooming our will into unbending intent. For that, it is necessary to cross a bridge. The bridge is already under our feet. All we have to do is walk it. And if you meet the warrior spirit on the other side, you will know that the challenge has just begun. The challenge has just begun. See, a warrior only has one possession. That one possession is their discipline. With discipline, they can begin to own their personal power, their energy, awareness, and intent. They can take their discipline with them into the non-ordinary, and even into death itself, whereas nothing else can fit in quite the same way. When we shift our energy from fear to power with compassion, we will find that we were always loved. Yeah, way beyond human understanding. It takes willpower to get the ego out of the way and silenced. It's not a passive act. Action with the power of intent will stop the ego's chatter and lead you to freedom. Welcome to the discipline of awakening. Welcome to the discipline of awakening. We're in this together. And as we tap into that spark of the divine that's inside us, and we awaken those three gifts, power, love, and sound mind, when we awaken those three gifts, we become the warriors to make the changes. And how did it all start? By making the changes of who you are, to be the change. Be the change. It's not complicated, but it doesn't happen by sitting on your butt. It happens by making effort, reading, studying, listening to that warrior spirit, listening to that wee small voice inside, because God speaks to us from inside. The presence of God is inside each and every single cell of your DNA. Every single cell of your DNA. That's why Q said to guard your DNA, because the spark of the divine is inside you. It's inside you. So when you awaken that power, and you awaken the sound mind and use your sound mind, he's given you the gift to use it. No more whining and whimpering, wallowing around in self-pity. Oh, poor me. No. You made that reality yourself. You created the environment to where you're in. Boy, I made a lot of mistakes in my environment. From my age, I shouldn't be living in a little 400 square foot place, and that's it. Yeah, I learned from my mistakes and have become a better person. And now is my time. Just like now is your time. Or you wouldn't be listening to this video any longer. You'd already moved on. So, if you like this video, and it's giving a call to your soul, and giving a call to that spirit within you to awaken that warrior spirit. If this video is touching that chord, like and share. Like and share. Join my channel. And I'm not on Twitter, X, and I'm not on Truth Social. However, I rely on people like you to share my videos. If you like them, share it. Share it on those two platforms and help expand my reach. You'd be doing me a huge, huge favor. And on top of that, I say thank you for all those people who have bought me a coffee. I love my coffee. And I have a donation link in the description to buy me a coffee. You can join me as a monthly subscriber to my channel. Help me keep up the motivation and inspiration to do more. And I have lots of plans coming up. Lots of plans. I'm starting a new series. It's going to be Timeless Treasures. They're all going to be short videos. I'm going to make a playlist on all my channels with that, or on the channels at least that offer the playlist. Timeless Treasures. They're going to be short, and they're not going to be anywhere, shape, or form attached to the timeline of where we're living. They're timeless treasures. So watch for that happening, and hopefully you'll follow just to get that little pump up every once in a while, that little spark of inspiration. By 2030, our agenda is going to be in full swing, and I call that thrivalism. We will thrive and be happy. Gesara will kick in, and life as we know it will change dramatically. And it's going to be up to us to make those changes, because we're the ones where that spark of the divine should be awakening. And it's up to us to awaken those three gifts: love, power, and sound mind. Awaken them in you. Awaken them in you. Follow my channel. It might make a little difference. It just might make a little difference, helping you tap into that power that's inside you, so that you won't wallow around in self-pity, and you won't be impatient because you'll be too busy doing things to make the changes in your own life and in your own self. In your own self first, and then your environment second, and then your community after that. And the whole world will transform when people start to step into their own power and develop that warrior spirit inside them and stand in their power. Stand in your power, stand in their power, everybody standing in their power. What an amazing world this is coming to be. With that, I'm going to leave you with a wish from the bottom of my heart, from the center of every cell of my being, from that spark of the divine that's inside my DNA. I wish you and yours peace profound.